Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Good Morning Show. I'm Eddie Francis in for Will Sutton, and joining me, the man himself. They call him OT.
The voice, man, so good to be here with Fast Eddie, Ferocious Eddie, Fantastic Eddie, Fabulous Eddie. Oh, you can put two words together, fantabulous Eddie. That's fantastic and fabulous, man. One of the legendary voices of radio.
Your check is in the mail, my brother.
On the station that we talk about all day long. Good morning, and I guess this is the last time I'll be on the air until the next year. So Happy New Year to everybody, and thank y'all for surviving me and us surviving each other from 2025.
Listen, man, we had a lot of stuff to survive in 2025, man. What a year it has been.
Ooh, man, terror, a freeze.
Yeah.
An election.
Yeah.
We're waiting for a resurrection.
Yeah, man. It has been a lot. So when I ended the show yesterday, I actually read this piece from Marcus Colston. Mm-hmm. And Marcus Colston is a thriving businessman these days.
Yeah, I've interviewed him before. He's been on the show. Wonderful young man. And what he's done, first of all, what he did during his career was focus on, he just caught balls. He didn't do many interviews. Mm-hmm. He studied. He was studying financial investment and how to use his money to make more money. And I'll never forget, I had a conversation with him, and he says he's at a point now where he's ready to share with other people the last few years, and he is amazing.
He is. I signed up for his newsletter.
Yeah.
So I get his newsletter. I think it's a weekly newsletter that he gets in. Yesterday, I read a piece that he wrote about identity, about how we are used to walking into a room and using our identities to do something, but then when there comes a point when we have to figure out how to adopt a new identity, or at least lean into a new identity to get new things or to get new things done. For him, he said he had a helmet, he had a career, he had a uniform, and all of these good things that really got him into a room. But now, as a businessman, he has to figure out new things to get him into a room, right? And what these new things are. And so I left that message with folks yesterday, talking about how in 2025 we may have had a particular identity, but going into 2026, we might have to figure out what a new identity is going to be to keep us pushing forward. And so for some of us, we can do the same thing and be successful in 2026. For others, we're going to have to figure out something else.
It's interesting that you say that. There's been a conversation, and I was texting with someone the other day about that identity. And, we've talked about it here before. You and I, as long as we've been around, we've had to either keep up with the news and trends. And I can't speak for you, but I can say specifically paying attention to our people and our community. And I text someone the other day who are concerned about this identity crisis, especially in Black America today, with many of our women, our young children, our men, and what we're being identified as, and the stereotype, how prominent it still is today, and how we fall into these marketing schemes, whether it's anti-family, promoting individualism, labeling us, the disappearance of Black men in many spaces. And I texted them, remember Neely Fuller Jr. and the late Dr. Amos Wilson, who said during the 60s, and we need a new code of conduct. And if you know Amos Wilson, he's one of the foremost social scientists, especially on provoking Black thought and how Black thought and Black stereotypes affect our community.
Yeah.
We need a new code of conduct. And a lot of the conversation was centered around Natalie Nunn's inability to perform the interview she did with Cam Newton, where not only did she underperform, but it was so embarrassing that she just thought promoting sex, being good enough, dressing like you're going to give away the world, talking about baddies and her baddies and why her baddies. And Cam asked us simple questions that her only response was, they look good and they'll do anything, basically.
Mm.
We need a new code of conduct.
Yeah. So my wife and I had this very interesting conversation as well about the civil rights movement.
Mm-hmm.
And the program that she directs at Tulane is named for John Lewis. John Lewis Public Administration Program. She was very intentional about naming the program. She is a student of his work, like many people are.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that, and I know you can talk probably ad nauseum about John Lewis and the work that he did,
Absolutely,
as a public servant. And one of the things that we talked about one day is that when we look at protest culture now versus what it was during the civil rights movement, there was a lot of intention about conduct, a lot of intention about it.
Wow.
And that was part of the reason they
you.
protested in suits.
This conversation, end of the year, is extremely important. I always tell people God doesn't make any mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
My conversation about code of conduct, stereotyping,
Mm-hmm.
the whole conversations around Natalie Nunn. You just go watch that interview with Cam Newton. She's the girl who promotes the baddies on Zeus TV that fight and disrespect each other, pull each other's clothes off, use the lewdest examples, right? Natalie Nunn. And it is real. In one of the conversations, I talked about the principles of Willie Lynch, how they still work today.
Yeah.
And the author, whether it was real or not, said, we want the stereotyping and we want the marketing to be so profound that it will last thousands of years beyond. And it looks like it has, especially post-Emancipation Proclamation. But this conversation, and I thought, Eddie, and thank you, first of all, for the lead on this. Thank you for your wife for what she does. John Lewis, Martin Luther King, and Malcolm X, in many cases, would not be accepted by our community today.
Well, they had trouble being accepted back then.
Absolutely, but not by the masses. The masses, in many cases, were fearful.
Yeah.
They were quiet, but they liked the fact that they had somebody that represented the best.
So there's context.
So there was context.
There's context to that, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Today, there is a couple generations that wouldn't pay attention to them.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe so the word isn't, but they wouldn't pay attention to them. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't be outlandish enough, ignorant enough, and stereotypical enough for mass marketers, right? The press, and the people who are not from our community, who shape the images they give to our community, they wouldn't get their attention.
So I want to continue this conversation because there's something extraordinarily important. This is the Good Morning Show. I'm Eddie Francis, in for Will Sutton. Will Sutton!
Hey, Will, enjoy yourself,
What's up?
man.
Happy Kwanzaa, Will!
Happy Kwanzaa. And Dr. Karanga.
And OT is in the house as always. Look, we're going to come back and continue this conversation because I think there's a good question on the table here. What's the code of conduct for 2026? 504-582-9422, 504-582-9422.
That's how you start your morning and start your day. What should our code of conduct be going? Out of 2025 and into forever.
It is the Good Morning Show on WBLK. What New Orleans is talking about all day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Good morning and happy Tuesday. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU News, and here's a look at today's headlines. City leaders say they are all hands on deck to keep you safe this New Year's Eve. New Orleans is currently at a SEER 3 rating, which is a special event assessment used by federal officials to evaluate terrorism threats for big events. We're told about 800 law enforcement officers will be patrolling the city over the holiday. That includes approximately 450 NOPD officers and National Guard members. Then happening today, team leaders will discuss all the festivities leading up to the Sugar Bowl as they prepare for thousands of fans to cheer on their players. This is both Georgia and Ole Miss arrived in the Crescent City yesterday. The two SEC teams will face off in the big game on New Year's Day, and according to SeatGeek, the cheapest price to attend that game inside the Superdome is $230. Finally, flu cases continue to surge in Louisiana, with health experts warning that trend isn't going to stop anytime soon. Right now, Louisiana has very high flu activity. The State Department of Health shows more than 7% of emergency room visits right now are related to the flu. And officials say a new flu strain accounts for almost 90% of those new cases. They say cases will likely peak in late January. And that is a look at today's headlines. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU. Have a great day.
That's right. It's party time each and every Sunday night at 7 p.m. on WBOK. It's the Throwback Throwdown with DJ Wick as he brings you the best in old school from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and the early 2Ks. Plus, the party goes to another level at 9 p.m. with the Throwback Throwdown Party Mix to round out the night. It's the Throwback Throwdown Sunday nights at 7 p.m. on WBOK and on the World Wide Web at WBOK1230.com.
Hey, what's up, good people? This is Gerard Stevens wishing you and yours the best of the holiday season. Be safe and, of course, keep it locked in.
Good morning, wake up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK.
And good morning. Welcome to the Good Morning Show. Eddie Francis in for Will Sutton and OT, the man himself, Oliver Thomas.
Happy end of year and happy New Year to everybody out there, man.
Happy New Year to you too, man.
Yeah, man, no doubt it, man. And first of all, thank you for the conversation, man. It's an honor to be here. Will Sutton, whatever you're doing, man, I know you're doing it right. Whenever time you're on, I know you deserve it. Yeah, like I said earlier, God doesn't make any mistakes. Much of our conversations have been around the code of conduct, how we're seeing many of what we thought vanishing stereotypes and old stereotypes take new shape and form.
Yeah.
What's being promoted, who they will pass over for the job to give a job to.
Yeah.
Who they will pass over to be in the commercial to give the commercial, right? First of all, I think the feminization of black men is real. I think the exclusion of black men is real. And how can I say that? Now, I don't care what you identify with as you are, as long as you're good people.
Right.
You're okay. But I think the white marketing, white executives, and white promoters are specifically looking to replace or misplace, especially powerful black male images. When you mentioned the likes of Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Medgar Evers, and not that other people don't deserve their rightful place, but the CNBC report in February 2024 said that black men and boys are missing from the nation's economy. Well, if we don't control the economy, how are we missing? There has to be, I don't want to say it's a conspiracy, but it's not a conspiracy, it's definitely a plan. The Brookings Institute report on black men and boys said they face discrimination and obstacles in every social, didn't say some, it didn't name a few. The report, when you Google it, Brookings Institute, 2022 report on black men and boys, every social institution. So why are these things happening, and why are these stereotypes being promoted of our young men and women, and why are whole networks being created to promote the least common denominator.
Yeah, I think there's a reality show network now, if I'm not mistaken.
Zeus, I think,
Is that
Zeus,
what it is? Okay.
which is now worth $1 billion
Yeah.
promoting the worst of us.
So here's the thing that's very interesting. There are a couple of points. Today, as as fate would have it, as you said, you began the show saying you don't believe in any mistake. I don't believe in any mistakes either. Today, the principle of Kwanzaa is Nia, purpose.
Yes.
It is purpose. We reflect on our purpose to develop and defend our community in service of preserving the history of African people. Black Americans, we're heirs and custodians of a great legacy. And, you know, when we take a look at that legacy, I think it has a lot to do with the pride that we not only have in ourselves individually, but the pride and the faith that we have in each other. And the way we discover a sense of purpose in where we sit in our communities, no matter where that is. The thing is that when you, to your point, when you have, I'm going to say this as a professional marketer, when you have cheap marketing tactics that are designed only to make somebody some money, you know, because that's what cheap marketing does. It just focuses on making somebody some money, somebody somewhere.
Absolutely.
When you have that, it disrupts people's sense of purpose, I think.
Well,
I think that really, because what cheap marketing does is that it tells you, don't worry about your purpose. Go over here and get this other thing. Go over here and get this money. Get the likes. Get the clicks. You know, just do that, because you don't need to have a sense of purpose. You need to be noticed. And I think that's where we fall into these traps. We want to get more noticed than we want to actually have and act upon a sense of purpose.
So what has happened since 1968? 1968 was the last time we had almost 70% of black households had a male and female in what was, quote unquote, the American family structure, right? Today it's 30 or 32%. Why are other communities still in the 70 and 80%? They have the same issues with their children and generations and opportunity and inflation and economy and the cost of education, but their units still stay together. Why are we the only community that they tell us we can be whole with half?
A question. What a question.
And so why are we
question.
promoting that black men and women don't need each other? That black children don't need parents? That we don't need to buy homes? Hispanics and other groups have surpassed us in home ownership last year for the first time in history.
So, OT, there's this study that flew so far under the radar in 2015. My wife is a member of Zeta Phi Beta sorority. Zeta Phi Beta commissioned a study with the American Advertising Federation. I think it was funded by the Ad Council. And the study was called Reality TV, Entertaining But No Laughing Matter. The purpose of this study was to take a look at the impact of reality television on perceptions of black women, specifically African-American women. And part of what the study said is that overwhelmingly, participants recognize the identified African-American woman personas, although not always calling them by name, and were insistent that the images did not reflect them personally. So they had these watch parties where women took a look at these reality TV shows, you know, the Love and Hip Hop and
Basketball
Real Housewives of whatever.
Married to Medicine.
You know, Real Housewives of Kenner, whatever. So, I mean,
where the doctors fight each other and disrespect each other and call each other names.
Right.
On TV.
So these people with professional titles.
Correct.
Are throwing stilettos at each other, right?
Correct.
I mean, so they're doing all this crazy stuff. And so they did these watch parties, and what they did is they had these folks who were at the watch parties give their feedback about the perceptions of black women based on watching these reality
Once
TV
black
shows.
women started to work to get their place economically, socially, politically, spiritually, they started these shows to create these stereotypes of what America wants people to see that they really are.
Right. And
but not that they really are, but the images that they wanted to promote. It's the same thing they did with black men.
So the themes that came up during these watch parties, and again, this is a study done with Zeta Phi Beta sorority, the advertising federation, American Advertising Federation, funded by the Ad Council. The three key themes that surfaced during these watch parties were: 1, the reduction of African American womanhood; 2, diminished respect for the African American woman.
These are the findings, guys. Pay attention. 504-582-9422 of a study like the Brookings Institute study on black men and boys. These studies were not released so that the masses would know it.
No, this was This was done a decade ago. And
Keep going.
And then the new road to success. Now, let me explain the new road to success. By default, reality TV actors have become role models for some African-American teenage girls and young adults who emulate their dress, speech, interpersonal skills, or lack thereof, and their attitudes towards money, sex, and material possessions. Not only do they become regular viewers, but also followers on social media, carefully studying all aspects of these crafted personas. Crafted personas. Now, again, and I want people to understand, this is not an attack on black women, but this is really calling out how I think we have an innate sense of purpose in black America. And it's a very strong sense of purpose. That's terrifying to white supremacy. Terrifying. Whenever we step into our purpose, right? We joke about that term, stepping into our purpose.
Right.
But when you have...
dignified, composed.
But when you have a young black man who says, you know what? I want to open a vegan restaurant because my parents were diabetics. And somebody says, you don't have to do that, man. Vegan. They don't nobody eat no vegan food.
Right.
Or when he goes to get his zoning and somehow mysteriously the zoning permit gets messed up. So this young man can't get his restaurant opened. And then there are issues with the supply chain. He can't get his stuff.
Correct.
And then somebody mysteriously, the algorithm changes on social media when he's trying to promote his restaurant and healthy eating.
Man, you just read my mind. And then they sick the people who from our community who are there to promote the stereotype, the demonization, the fact that you're what did Byron Allen said? They discredit us, dismiss us, discredit us, demonize, and then destroy.
Amen to Brian.
The 4
Byron
Ds.
Allen. Byron Allen. And listen, if you have not gotten a chance to read up on the work that Byron Allen
and
is
what he
doing
had to go through
in media,
and what he had to go through.
Oh my goodness.
That's how he created the 4 Ds.
Yes. I mean, oh man. So I definitely want to come back to this, but there's an important conversation that we have to have when we come back from this break. We're going to have a talk to the New Orleans Fire Department. My man, Quentin Brown is calling in. And we're going to talk about fire safety, especially during these holidays. Right. We're going to come back in just a bit. It is the Good Morning Show. Eddie Francis in for Will Sutton. OT is hanging out, as always, on WBOK. What New Orleans is talking about all day long.
Host of Put Housing First. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock where we will discuss how housing affects every aspect of our lives and what's necessary, what's needed to guarantee housing for all. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock as we dig down deep onto the issues that affect all of us.
Meet Leanna, a part-time chef and full-time mom. In the past, Leanna didn't have health insurance because she didn't think she could afford it. What she didn't realize is she qualified for Medicaid. She loves the coverage and peace of mind that comes with high-quality care. The kind of care you get with Healthy Blue. This is Medicaid, and it's for more people than you think. Maybe even you. To see if you qualify, go to myhealthybluela.com.
Ever notice that everyone always wants more of a good thing? More rewards, more savings, more special offers? Well, when you become a new member of the Fuel Rewards program at Shell, that's exactly what you get. More. Join today to save 10 cents per gallon on your first fill, 20 cents on the second, and 30 cents on the third. Then enjoy everyday savings afterwards. Want more? Then head to Shell where members get more. Offer valid from 4/21/25 through 10/31/25 at participating Shell locations. Offer must be redeemed within 60 days of registration. Limit 20 gallons. Restrictions apply. Visit fuelrewards.com/join25 for more information.
Saints of God, it's time for us to tell you the truth. It's time for you to start your 21-day challenge. Don't take another day. Do it right now. Call 504-701-4711. That's the Whole Water Store, Pastor David Impartian Sr., the host of Change Your Water, Change Your Mind. This is the water that's designed to change your body, the way you think, the way you act, and the way you look. Why don't you start your 21-day challenge today? For $35, you can start it right now. Call me so we can set up your appointment. 504-701-4711. That's 504-701-4711. Change your water, change your mind.
The Historic New Orleans Collection presents a new exhibition open through June 7th, 2026, The Trail They Blazed. Built collaboratively with people who participated in the local civil rights movement, The Trail They Blazed presents stories of social and racial justice straight from the people who lived them. Listen to leaders tell their stories of resistance and persistence in their own voices, recorded by the Historic New Orleans Collection. Plan your visit to 520 Royal Street in the French Quarter and reserve your free tickets at hnoc.org today.
This is Charla from the WBOK sales team, wishing you and yours a very happy holiday season.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
And good morning. Welcome back to the Good Morning Show. Eddie Francis in for Will Sutton. Oliver Thomas, OT, hanging out.
Yep.
And also hanging out with us this morning, joining us live, Captain Quentin Brown of the New Orleans Fire Department.
Captain Q.
What's up,
morning,
Q? How you
gentlemen.
doing, man?
I'm good. How you doing, Mr. Francis, Mr. Thomas? How are we today?
Man, if we
I'm
were any
so
better,
good.
we'd be you.
I swear.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that,
So-
especially starting the new year.
So yeah, when they gave me the message yesterday, they said, "Eddie, you're going to be talking to Quentin Brown." I said, "No, man. Send us somebody who knows what they're talking about."
Man, after 36 years of doing this, I may still have to learn some more things. That's for sure.
Yeah, but that's a sign of a smart man.
I was about to say we are forever on the learning journey, my brother. Welcome to the
Always.
show, and I know that this is a really busy time of year for fire departments across the country.
Yes, sir.
We have the holidays; it's getting colder, and of course, there is New Year's. So with the new year comes a lot of risk for a lot of folks. And so the first thing is let's talk about New Year's celebrations and fire safety. Why is fire safety especially important during these New Year's celebrations?
Well, the New Orleans Fire Department, as well as departments around the country, always are exposed to some consistently dangerous situations as it relates to the new year, one of which is fireworks. And as a department, we like to encourage everybody to understand that that fireworks are illegal in Orleans Parish. However, we know, living in this city, we know that people will do their own thing with fireworks. We like to encourage them to go out and see the watch the professionals do it. It's a lot safer, and it's a lot less dangerous for communities and such like that. So, with fireworks, it's always a tenuous situation with us. They cause a number of different issues, along with dismemberment of people, burns, those kind of things. And there is always a caution for fireworks dropping on houses, in grass areas that'll start grass fires and even structure fires with houses.
Yeah, and I was about to say, it seems that the one thing that a lot of folks tend to forget is that what goes up must come down.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so whenever people shoot off their fireworks, it's got to come down somewhere. And unfortunately, when it does, can you talk about what happens with these structures, with this grass. I mean, why is it? Because it may seem as if it's obvious to some people, but why is there such an inherent danger of fire when these objects come down?
Well, most times they're still lit. They still have enough heat on them.
Yeah, there's still enough embers and burning material. Yeah,
absolutely. To ignite any small area that's dry. We haven't had rain in a few days now, maybe a couple of weeks. And there are some areas that on houses and in grass that are still dry, and it still has enough heat on those materials that are falling that will set small fires.
So Cap, heading into the new year, this is something we do regularly, especially when we talk about safety and preparing. But heading into this year, I was at the emergency meeting yesterday, especially following last year with the terror event, the fire department. When you talk about fire, it's not just fire safety, but public safety. You guys are trained in it. In many cases, like very few of the other frontline emergency personnel. What's different about this year, combined with what we went through last year, especially given the fact that it's not just about exploding firecrackers and, some of these special fireworks stuff. We live in a different kind of world now, Captain Brown.
Absolutely. Yeah. Especially after dealing with last year, there is a push for people to pay more attention to their surroundings. Not only, as you said, not only is it a fire safety, but it's public safety. We have to pay attention and be cognizant and aware of all of the things that are going on. You hear the police department say, if you see something, say something. That's a mantra in the public safety industry, that we could always be cognizant of the things that are going on around us. It helps us. It helps our community, especially with the fire service. I mean, we respond to a number of different things. People think that we only go to fires and we only respond to fires, but we have a very high medical presence. We assist EMS greatly. And just paying attention and notifying our counterparts in police and public safety is key.
So you mentioned people getting injuries. I mean, over your career, Captain, what kinds of injuries have you seen from fireworks?
They're always the injury for burns. Especially, and you wouldn't think that sparklers are that that important when it comes to compared to the fireworks that go up in the air and explode.
Especially with the kids with the sparklers in their hand, and
exactly.
Until it burns out to the end. Correct.
Right, and even when they burn out to the end, there's still, if you notice, there's still a red glow on those metal objects. Those things will burn you. They tend to range from about 1,200 degrees to 2,000 degrees, strangely enough. And you're holding that in your hand. So especially with children, you have to be cognizant and aware of the dangers with those things. Because, again, you would think that the fireworks that go up in the air and explode, they are dangerous. And believe me, they're small explosive devices. You have to be careful of those things, and you have to know what you're doing when you're dealing with them.
Yeah, and then we also have the folks who they decide that they're gonna have a bit. They're gonna have a little taste before they fire off some fireworks. And I mean, everybody's trying to have a good time. I've seen it many times myself, but. What about the mixture of alcohol and fireworks? But seriously, I mean, the combination of people drinking with fireworks. What are the inherent dangers there?
Well, I mean, just kind of put it in terms of drinking and driving. It's very similar because you can take your own life, you can take somebody else's life if you can get in the car, drunk or just drinking. Fireworks are the same way. Your you're altered. You're in an altered mental status. And when you deal with fire that way, you can kill people. A lot of people don't like to hear that. It can happen. It can be a mistake that you don't want to make in your life that, will probably get you or someone else hurt or killed. You're dealing with people who have been drinking and they're not doing the right thing. You don't have total control when you've been drinking. So put it in terms of getting behind the wheel when you're handling fireworks after you've been drinking.
So let's shift the conversation a little bit because we also going to have folks who are going to be getting their New Year's Day celebrations going. They're going to be cooking the cabbage and the black eyed peas and getting ready for New Year's Day. What about the precautions that people should take celebrating indoors, candles and cooking? What kinds of precautions should people take?
Over the years, again, I've been in the fire service a long time, so you see a lot of different things. Now, you don't see as many candles. However, people do use them. Candles are big business, and we see them a lot more than when you think it. They're the electric candles now that people use for mood lighting and things like that. However, at least a few times a year we get candle fires that have been placed too close to curtains and bedding and things like that. So you really have to be aware of where you put those things located in your home. Electric heaters, very similar. You plug those directly into a wall socket, and and try not to do extension cords with those. And you must keep them at least 3 feet away from anything that could possibly ignite. Those are very important ideas. And children, if you're in the home with a young child, make sure that they know the safety precautions that they take for those space heaters, and you got to keep them in well ventilated rooms, and make sure that they're not in a space where they can be knocked over very easily, because electric heaters and candles and things like that can definitely ruin your holiday time.
Yeah, and this year, New Year's Eve is going to be. I think we're going to have a cold one this year. So so we are actually looking at probably an increased risk when it comes to space heaters. And so in New Orleans in particular, though, we're talking about increased risk because of the makeup of a lot of our homes, right? I mean, we have a lot of old houses in this city. So does that contribute to the risk?
It does. It does. In the fire service, we think everything's a risk.
Okay.
So we try to educate people on what to do and what to pay attention to. Like very few places around the country. There's some other places that have floor furnaces. Those things are a staple here in the city. I remember growing up in this community with floor furnaces. I have family members that have gotten their feet burned, and people that I know. And some of those things still work, and you really have to pay attention to it, as well as those in the wall heaters. Very similar type of thing. They're old, but some of them still work. And a lot of times people are just trying to heat up, trying to get warm because it's so cold out. Thank goodness this cold snap is going to be only a couple of days. But typically, whenever we have just a 1 or 2 day cold snap, we have people who are in a situation where they can't afford electricity. Sometimes they try to open up, light objects on fire to keep warm, and it's always a challenge for us.
So one of the things I've noticed, Captain Q, is the cost of living is affecting people in terms of home maintenance, improvement.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I will tell you that all of our families are affected. It costs so much, right? Mm-hmm. To have a AC, a furnace, a heater expert come out, $400 just to come out, several $100s, whether they don't do anything at all or not. And people in the past, I remember my mother would have the furnace, of the heating or even cooling system checked first before you would turn it on. Now people are just turning it on because to have that technician come out and check it, I mean, that's bigger than, in many cases, than the electricity or gas or utility bill. How important is it to have your system serviced, and how do we find an affordable way to get that done?
Ooh, that's a challenge. I mean, the challenge for people who don't make enough money to get these services, you could possibly give us a call, get the fire department a call, because what happens typically is that people will light those furnaces or heater units, especially the first time after not being on all summer, and they smell smoke in the house. Turn it off. Give the fire department a call. We'll come out and have some firefighters check it, make sure that you don't have any fire and extension in the system. Excuse me. And we don't want to excite anybody or get them out of whack about it. Yeah, but be careful and be cognizant of what's going on with your unit. It's always good to like I said, we've had a cold snap already, so a lot of people have already probably turned on their heaters and had that process go through that. But if there is an issue and you turn your heater on and you smell smoke, don't be afraid to call.
Now, one other thing, we experienced it already, Eddie. My daughter was preparing for her party, her Friendsmas, Christmas event with all her other teenage friends, and lit the fireplace and was wondering why it was smoking.
Oh,
the vent wasn't open.
Oh, good. Yeah, she opened the flue. Yeah.
The flue. Yeah, the flue wasn't open.
Yeah, the vent. The vent wasn't open.
It's happened to the best of us. Yeah, it happened.
Yeah, that's happened to me once.
And remember when the chimney cleaner would come out, or the person who had expertise, because there's something that with the system, especially so you can get the toxins or those things that burn up through the chimney to get it cleaned out. People don't do that anymore.
No.
They just if the flue, what do you call it, the flue?
The flue, yeah.
If the flue is open, they just burn it anyway. There's no cleaning. There's no preparation like it used to be.
And a lot of people don't understand that creosote is an offshoot. Well, it's a byproduct of burning. And what happens is if you go so long without cleaning that inside of a chimney, that'll ignite.
That's a toxin.
So, it will. Yep, definitely. So you have to be cognizant of all those things.
So to close out, I know that the New Orleans Fire Department is preparing. So, one, this is a two-part question. One, what are you doing to prepare? And two, what is the key message that you want to leave with the community as they get ready to celebrate, or as we get ready to celebrate the new year coming in?
Well, let me say this first without being large-headed. The fire department tends to stay ready in order not to get ready. We're always in prep mode. We're always in a position where we are ready to respond for whatever it is that happens. The second part of that question is just be safe. Again, pay attention to your surroundings. Understand the things that are going on in your area, in your neighborhood, in your city. And if you need help, give us a call. We're there. We'll respond to any call. For the most part, we if you need some help, whether it's medical or fire or anything like that, we tend to be the what do they call it? The Swiss Army knife of the fire service. I mean, of the emergency management. So, if there's anything that you need, if there's a problem, give us a call.
All right, and something that I was just able to.
And what's that number?
Yeah, what's the number?
Oh, I'm sorry. The number, the non-emergency number, you have to call through 811. Is it 811? I'm sorry. Yeah. And the city will, you can call the if it's emergency, of course, 911. Yes.
Yes. And one thing that folks can do, I just did this for myself. One thing that folks can do is you can actually access fire safety tips online. If you just Google fire safety tips, then something is going to come up and you're going to get a nice list from any one of a number of fire departments from around the country, so that they can, so that you can celebrate New Year's in a safe way. And then you can also make sure you stay safe throughout the winter, because I mean, it's not just New Year's, it's the winter. We still got January and February. And so we still got people who are going to be, they're going to be working those space heaters. They're still going to be working their fireplaces and all kinds of stuff. So it really doesn't stop for the fire professionals, does it, Captain Brown?
Hey, rescuing cats out the tree, helping old ladies up the block, making sure the fireworks don't burn the city down.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yes. And you got to put Oliver Thomas out when he's on fire, too.
Hey, and we're about to get back to a fire topic, man, that we started earlier. People are texting saying, we hope we get back to that. Well, we hope y'all call in at 504-582-9422. What are your New Year's resolutions for our folk, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do we want to do about the stereotyping? What is the new code of conduct? Captain Q says, as long as you're protecting your family, making sure it's fire safety, making sure it's firework safety, and preventing potential hazards, you're doing okay. Captain Q, we appreciate you, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate
you.
you.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
All right. You have a great day and have a happy New Year.
You do as well. Thank you.
All right, then. We're going to be back in just a little bit. Yeah, we will get back to the conversation.
Yeah.
OT just showed me a
No
text
doubt
from someone
about
saying
it.
that this is an important conversation we started. And so we're going to do that. This is the Good Morning Show on WBOK, what New Orleans is listening to
all day long.
Interest rates and inflation are out of control. Is your credit card debt also out of control? It's time to resolve your debt and take back control for a lot less than what you owe. If you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt, then you need to call us right now. Debt Fix Pros can significantly reduce the amount you owe, and you could be debt-free faster than you think.
I knew we had to do something. Our debt was growing.
It was getting out of control, and we just didn't know what to do.
We saw an ad for Debt Fix Pros. We called, and they showed us how fast they could get us out of debt.
It really was amazing, and now we're back in control.
Call now, and we'll show you how easy it is to fix your debt. The call and consultation are free. Call Debt Fix Pros right now at 800-311-5977. That's 800-311-5977. 800-311-5977.
Hey, this is Norman Sanders with WBOK, letting you know to have a happy holiday.
Good morning. Wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
And welcome back to the Good Morning Show. Eddie Francis in for Will Sutton. OT hanging out.
Hey, hanging with Fast Eddie. Fast Eddie and slow OT means we get there on time.
And
balance, baby.
Man, OT came in with just came in this morning with we just talked to Captain Quentin Brown. Right. He came in with the candle lit this morning.
No candle was lit.
And talking about purpose and what it means for us as Black folks to really work in our purpose. And then the conversation evolved to having a code of conduct as a people.
Conduct.
And what that means, before we jump back into the conversation, let me say good morning to the folks on
Yeah,
Facebook
man,
who are
good
hanging
morning,
out with us.
guys.
Melma hanging out on Facebook. Melanie Renee, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Paul Jensen, thank you so much. Sean Gill from Down Under, thank you for hanging out.
Australia.
Yes, Michael Raymond and Fern Ware, we appreciate you hanging out with us this morning.
Big Mike.
On a Good Morning Show. As always, we are streaming live, WBOK1230.com. Facebook, the Facebook community is as active as always, and we are also streaming on YouTube and Twitch. And so you can hang out with us in any one of those areas. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Each one reach one, please. And tell them to check out WBOK. Tell them to check out the Good Morning Show. So one of my favorite aha moments when I was doing my master's program in strategic leadership is ethics, and talking about and learning about why we get codes of conduct in organizations. 9 times out of 10, and I'm sure you can attest to this as a public servant, 9 times out of 10, we get a law, we get a code of ethics because somebody screwed something up. Somebody did something wrong.
Absolutely.
9 times out of 10. You know, whenever people talk about affirmative action, for example, and they act like it just popped up out of nowhere because black people
it's
were
because
complaining
somebody
too
did
much.
something wrong.
It's because people weren't behaving. They weren't doing what they were supposed to do as human beings.
Right.
And so whenever there's a code of conduct, sometimes, a lot of times it's preventative to make sure that...
An affirmative is a yes. That's a positive.
Thank you.
So it was affirmative action to say, let's have some positive action because of this negative inaction that was happening economically, socially, right? So that's why you got an affirmative because of the no's and the negative that was happening in this country.
We probably need to come back to that, too. And so when we talk about why there's a code of conduct, a lot of it is preventative to make sure that things don't happen. A lot of it also is making sure that some mistakes are corrected.
Right.
But codes of conduct are also put into place because an organization or a community is saying, this is our standard and this is how we honor our mission, our vision, our values.
Okay.
So when we take a look at what a code of conduct looks like in 2026 for Black America, I would ask the listeners, because we want you to call in and talk to us about this, 504-582-9422. And we're going to continue
Great
this into
end of year conversation to think about how we want to be viewed, how we want to be valued, and how do we want to be seen going into the next year and century.
And this is not meant to be a restrictive conversation where we're saying don't do things.
Not at all.
But this is, let's call this a dream-making conversation. What do you want?
We have a dream today.
What do we want?
I want to set the table real quick.
Yeah.
And let me tell you why this is important, especially given the way social media and media is shaping today. And earlier, Vassetti, that's one of his code names, guys, talked about, and we talked about, would they pay attention to Malcolm and Martin and Medgar Evers and Barbara Jordan? What kind of attention would they get today? They were sophisticated, they were powerful, but they weren't outlandish. They didn't act in terms of buffoonery. They tried to show the best, most controlled, sophisticated images. Would that get the news attention today? Now, I had an incident several years ago when I started working at City Hall. If you remember that freeze they had back in the 90s, right, that shut everything down. And there was a very prominent reporter who was there on Poydras with his camera crew about the freeze. There was myself, a young woman who was a lawyer, and another African-American professional dressed up, suited up, working in government. And this prominent reporter was looking for someone to interview about the effects of the freeze. Now, I'm using this as an example, guys. This very prominent white reporter walked by us to interview the guy with a bottle of Thunderbird, black guy with a bottle of Thunderbird in his hand, about what the freeze meant to New Orleans.
Yeah.
That was the image that they put on Channel 4, WWL that evening. And whereas, look, nothing against this guy. It is what it is. I didn't know his situation. But we were standing right next to him on Poitras, and the reporter chose not to interview us, but interview him.
So with that being said, what do we want going forward as far as a code of conduct for Black America in 2026? And let's narrow it down to New Orleans. We're in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
What do we want as a code of conduct for Black New Orleans so that we can get what we want? What are we willing to do? How are we willing to engage with one another? How are we willing to engage with our elected officials? Because whereas we have a new mayor coming in and we have new city council people, and if your person didn't win, I hear you, I get you.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also new opportunities.
There's new opportunities. No
and
doubt
so
about it.
what are you going to do to work with those people? We're going to talk more about this. We want to hear what you want as
That's
far
right.
as a code of conduct for Black New Orleans.
And you don't lose, you learn.
And not to lose, but to learn. To learn. What do you want? Give us a call, 504-582-9422, 504-582-9422. The comments are also open on Facebook. The comments are open on YouTube. We are wide open right now because
Wide open.
we want you to build a dream.
And Eddie talked about NIA, purpose. We're right in the midst of Kwanzaa. This is the third day of Kwanzaa.
The fourth.
And your definition of NIA says to develop and defend our community and to preserve our history and our legacy.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Are we doing that with these images that are being promoted on mainstream media and cable and news now?
We got to talk about it, OT. Let's do it. 504-582-9422. This is the Good Morning Show. Eddie Francis in for Will Sutton. OT, Oliver Thomas is in the house. Well, this is the Good Morning Show on WBOK. What New Orleans is talking about all day long.
WBOK New Orleans, home of the Good Morning Show, 7 to 9 a.m. weekdays.
I'm Morgan Wood with BIN News Now. Hundreds of Louisiana National Guard troops are arriving in New Orleans despite city council data showing the number of reported crimes is down 16% from last year. Guard members will assist police with security in the French Quarter for New Year's Eve, at the Sugar Bowl, and during Mardi Gras. A Florida branch of the NAACP is demanding Clay County School Board member Robert Alvaro to step down over comments he made about the African American community in a Facebook Live video. The civil rights group called the remarks racist, harmful, and wholly incompatible with the responsibility of serving a diverse public school system. And Snoop Dogg was joined by the K-pop Demon Hunters for his holiday halftime show on Netflix as the Detroit Lions took on the Minnesota Vikings in Minneapolis on Christmas. The Vikings ended up beating the Lions 23-10. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Good morning. Wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK. Welcome to hour two of the Good Morning Show. Eddie Francis in for Will Sutton. Oliver Thomas, OT, is hanging out as well.
No doubt.
Many thanks if you are hanging out with us on Facebook and YouTube. And again, we put this question on the table. I mean, what is...
And I'd like to hear from some of our female callers about the images. If you saw the Natalie Nunn interview, man, it was atrocious.
Yeah.
The images that they're promoting, especially of reality chicks and in our community, the stereotypes. 504-582-9422. The late Neely Fuller Jr. and Amos Wilson, some of the black, outstanding social scientists and thought provokers of our time decades ago, said we need to begin to define our code of conduct. it's worth talking about, guys.
Yes. And so we got some callers on the line this morning. Reverend Calhoun is on the line. Reverend, how you doing this morning?
Happy ending, happy New Year, Rev.
Good morning to all. I'm doing well, trying to hang in here. But everything you gentlemen are speaking to actually goes back to one thing, and that's respect. I believe in respect for God, respect for yourself, and respect for your community. That's what we had. When you talk about Martin Luther King and all of those people, they set a standard of respect. If you listen at everything that you gentlemen have spoken to this morning, demonstrate that respect is going away. The leadership, the administrations that we have shows that he gets on TV and call a reporter piggy and all of that. He has taught that you don't need to have respect for anybody except what you want to say. So getting back to my point is simple, is once we start going back to a standard of respect for self, all right, go back to what it used to be. Girls were not so provocative in their dress. But if you look at it now, there's nothing left to the imagination because everything is revealed.
So, Reverend Calhoun, and I was going to ask you about that. You mentioned people respecting each other, but I was going to ask you about respecting ourselves first. Because it's really hard to respect other people if you can't respect yourself. And so, to you, what does that look like? What does self-respect look like?
Self-respect goes back to who you are. When you set a standard for yourself, when you look at you and say, this is who I want to be recognized as, we are trying to emulate them. When I look at this, when I look at this AI stuff, you have people coming on now trying to make themselves into something that they're not. You know, they then took their hair and they then took their eyes and reduced ankle swelling and everything else to make themselves look like something that they think they should look like. And they're not being happy and acceptable as to who they are. When we lose self-respect, when we don't have respect for ourselves, who and then will respect you? It just don't make sense to me.
Well, thank you, Reverend Calhoun, man. We appreciate you times 10. Thank you, Reverend. Eddie, you put respect out there, right? But there's no respect like self-respect.
No.
If it starts there, right?
Right.
And then if it starts there, it ends everywhere else.
Yeah.
Or it begins everywhere else.
So, I was having a conversation about the president, and a lot of folks who align themselves. And one of the things that I told someone in the middle of the conversation, the person goes, well, we don't want this to be a political conversation. I said, no, I'm not talking policy, ideology. I'm talking behavior. I'm talking human behavior.
Absolutely.
And this person was saying, it just seems like he doesn't respect other people. I said, that's because he has no self-respect. And they said, well, no, I think he does. I said, no, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
I said, no, what he is doing, when you look at that personality, when you look at that personality type,
insecure.
It is masking a very severe form of insecurity.
If your go-to is Byron Allen's 4 Ds, every time you can't have your way, to dismiss, discredit, demonize, and destroy, that means there's something psychologically amiss or very wrong with you. We got the lines lit up, man. 504-582
it's just
9422.
It's just like dealing with that messy friend.
Absolutely. It's always your fault.
Brother Aaron, how you doing this morning?
Say a great one.
What's going on, man? What's going on with y'all? First, shouts out to the Fatherhood Roundtable as well as the Houston Gun Club in Louisiana. Let me say this here. Well, first of all, how did we come up with the concept of gumbo? Don't worry about it. I'll answer for you. Our community, what we did, we took the very least of things and we put things together and put other things with it and made it the best. And it was given to us to demean us. Our community, we suffer from making excuses for the oppression that we be in. That's number one. We cannot come out of oppression if we make excuses for the oppression of the other people that's constantly oppressing us.
Good point.
Knowledge of self is very important. Without knowledge of self, that's how all them TV shows which I was just talking about, that's why some of our people model ourselves behind them, because we don't understand and know who we are. It was people when Dr. King and Malcolm X were the second half of Dr. King, because we understand the first part was button paper. Anyway, it was people when they was here who didn't respect them because they didn't want to see no change. And as black men, it's certain things that we should not allow in our community that we have to be man enough and willing enough to stand up to and say, we're not going to take that here. Brother Thomas, you know I'm a revolutionary, so I'm coming from the Black Panther Party ideology, straight up. And I don't make no apologies about who I am. Again, it's certain things in our community that we have to stand up and that we cannot allow and stop making excuses for whoever is doing and who's not doing. Accountability goes across the board. It can't be where this one here did it, but because Oliver doing it, it's supposed to be all right. No, we got to stop that. Whether you're my friend or you're not, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm on the side of righteousness, no matter who's doing it. Right is right and wrong is wrong. You're either pregnant or you ain't. There is no in between. Straight up. And
Brother Aaron, you talked about black masculinity, right? Is there a universal definition of it, or do we define it within our own community, and what does it mean?
We have to define it first within our own community, so that we can take and say, you know what? This is the blueprint on how we take and get to what we're trying to get at.
Gotcha.
Many times we let other people define who we are instead of us knowing who we are.
Wow.
You dig?
Wow. Thank you.
And again, a lot of times we have to be willing to stop being compromised and stop being bought and paid for the greater good of our community. A lot of times we want to say, oh, yeah, we got to be that spook that's set by the door so we can do this and we can do that. But then us being that spook, we forget what our intended purpose was to go out there for in the first beginning.
Wow,
because
brother.
we become the very thing that we fight against.
Brother Aaron.
Yeah, Brother Aaron, thank you very much, man. Thank you.
Appreciate
you. Appreciate you calling in. And listen,
Brother Aaron had a lot to say. Powerful though.
Yeah, absolutely. And the phone lines are still lighting up, and so that means that they're open for you. 504-582-9422, 504-582-9422.
What should be our code of conduct?
Yeah, what's the code of conduct going into 2026?
Does the stereotype continue?
Yeah, let's find out. What say you?
This
is the Good Morning Show on WBOK. What New Orleans is talking
Fast
about.
Eddie and Slow Alley means we get there right on time.
All right, let's come back on WBOK. What New Orleans is talking about all day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Good morning and happy Tuesday. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU News, and here's a look at today's headlines. City leaders say they are all hands on deck to keep you safe this New Year's Eve. New Orleans is currently at a SEER 3 rating, which is a special event assessment used by federal officials to evaluate terrorism threats for big events. We're told about 800 law enforcement officers will be patrolling the city over the holiday. That includes approximately 450 NOPD officers and National Guard members. Then happening today, team leaders will discuss all the festivities leading up to the Sugar Bowl as they prepare for thousands of fans to cheer on their players. This is both Georgia and Ole Miss arrived in the Crescent City yesterday. The two SEC teams will face off in the big game on New Year's Day, and according to SeatGeek, the cheapest price to attend that game inside the Superdome is $230. Finally, flu cases continue to surge in Louisiana, with health experts warning that trend isn't going to stop anytime soon. Right now, Louisiana has very high flu activity. The State Department of Health shows more than 7% of emergency room visits right now are related to the flu. And officials say a new flu strain accounts for almost 90% of those new cases. They say cases will likely peak in late January. And that is a look at today's headlines. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU. Have a great day.
Hey, this is D. Riley from the 90s Hits R&B Jams. Make sure you listen to WBOK 1230 AM every Saturday night from 7 until 9 p.m. I'll be giving you the best R&B jams from the 90s. That's right, all your favorites and more. With me, D. Riley, your host of the 90s Hits, right here on WBOK 1230 AM, or listen online at WBOK1230.com. WBOK, the station you listen to longer.
Hi, this is DJ Wick, production manager and the host of the Throwback Throwdown in the Love Zone, wishing you and yours a very happy holiday season.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
And good morning. Welcome back to the Good Morning Show. Eddie Francis in for Will Sutton, Oliver Thomas, OT, the man himself, hanging out.
EF. Like EF?
Well,
EF.
I really
Eddie
do.
Francis,
I really do
EF.
hope that when I speak, people listen.
Yes, they do.
I hope.
Yes, they do.
And I'm grateful for every ear I get. Every single time. I'm grateful for this microphone. And so, Cliff Dugard, thank you so much for hanging out. Karen
Hey,
Marks,
Cliff, bless
appreciate
you,
you.
man.
Thank you so much for hanging out
Happy New Year, you guys.
this morning.
Give us a call, guys. Look, the folk on social media, we really would love to hear your opinion about this ongoing stereotype. You know, we started off talking about how would Malcolm and Martin and Barbara Jordan, how would they fit in their sophisticated demeanor, in the fact that they didn't fit the stereotype today of outlandish, vocal, loud, disrespectful. They didn't lead with their effort like that. So give us a call. Is that a concern? Neely Fuller Jr. and Dr. Amos Wilson said that we need a new code of conduct. They said that decades ago, and we still aren't there yet.
Yeah, and Melanie Renee, she just posted a comment on Facebook. She posted that we had, at one time, I came from the community in St. Bernard, and there was she said that there was pride there, and they were very prideful in who they were. And so this conversation we're having this morning about what we want our code of conduct to be going into 2026 has boiled down to, and this is something that is very important, is people having a notion of self-respect, having a notion of identity, self-awareness.
Have we adopted the stereotype as the type?
Question.
Oh.
We got Don on the line this morning. Good morning, Don. How you doing?
Oh, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Professor Don.
Oh, no, you're too kind. And shout out to Big Chief Irvin Bannister Jr. Amen. But when you say code of conduct, code to me, my puny mind, means some type of secrecy. It should be a standard of conduct.
Okay.
So let me.
That's my thought. I'm not saying what you're saying is wrong. I'm just saying.
Right.
For the regulator in my mind, and when you talk about the tradition of excuse me?
I said you're thought-provoking.
Oh, really? Too kind. When we're talking about the tradition of a Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., he comes out of that church tradition, okay? But his ministry, his service to the society was, when you look at the Baptist tradition, it was the Progressive Baptist Convention, which was founded in 1961 in Cincinnati, that supported Dr. King, not the National Baptist Convention, USA, or the National Baptist Convention, which was more conservative. And they split themselves over ideology and other issues, internal issues, to form those issues. Then, of course, you had the most latest iteration of Baptist, the Full Gospel Baptist Church. Okay? So what I'm saying is, when we talk about what should be the standard or the code, well, there is such a thing as, when you look at, let me say one more thing. Malcolm X came out of his father was a Garveyite, follower of Marcus Garvey. And so, and Malcolm X, older sister from his father's first marriage was in Boston. They helped build the mosque up in New York and Boston, okay, and his whole family. So, and then, of course, he left and went and started the Organization of African American Unity. Okay, and so the tradition, but there was stages of maturity, stages of when a person is a young boy goes from a boy, a rite of passage. Do we have a rite of passage? Not no hazing and no ritual in the sense of this secretness of our manhood.
So wait a minute. So Don, I want to push back a little bit on something. Why is it that you focus so much on secrecy when it comes to a code?
Because that's what a code is.
Well,
a code is not to be shared. Manhood is to be shared through a communal relationship. Not through, in other words, when we say secrecy, let me ask you a question. If a person say, "Who's your mom and them?" You say, "Oh, I can't tell you. That's a secret." So, in order for you to have in order for a child to care about you, that child or that family has to feel that they are part of a community.
Okay.
And in order to, a community needs certain things in order for it to be a community, a functioning community. You can't say if I have to go way to another parish to shop for groceries, I don't live in a community. They're just somewhere I sleep and live.
Okay, all right.
Hey, Don, as always, man, Happy New Year, brother.
Yeah,
we got to have a community first in order for to change the behavior and expectations of our children moving forward.
Well, let's begin community.
All right.
Appreciate
thanks
it.
a lot, Don. So we're going to move on, and we're going to actually take some more calls. We got Miss Jones on the line right now. Good morning, Miss Jones.
Good morning, Miss Jones.
Good morning.
Happy end and Happy New Year, baby.
The audience, a good year to you, too, and everybody else, and we just got to do what we need to do. I'm looking at the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. It's nothing new, thank God.
Yeah, we're near right now, purpose, and the topic defines it, developing, defending our community, preserving our legacy.
Self-determination, collective work, and responsibility, especially when it came down to building, having a roof over your head. People work together. Cooperative economics, purpose, creativity, fate. We've always had that. It's just that it needs to be done throughout the year, not the last 5 days in the year.
You know what?
Just after Black Friday, where the buyer is a loser. Really.
Ms. Jones, but I want to thank you for something you just said. You said we've always had that, and a lot of times the conversation that we tend to have in the Black community is that we don't have it anymore. And right. I appreciate that you recognize that we still have it.
Right.
We had to have had. We really had to have had it. That's the only way our people.
We wouldn't be having this discussion if there wasn't still
past information. Just do it. We've done it all year round.
Yeah. But that was a good point, Eddie. Is that, and Ms. Jones, I don't think we give ourselves enough credit. We may highlight some of the deficiencies, but we wouldn't be having this discussion if there still wasn't some semblance of, you know what? We rebuke that. We don't accept that. But we can't discount its prominence.
And winning awards, all obscenity.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a 6-year-old picks up on that. That's all he knows. That's his language.
Well, people think cussing and being outlandish and showing half your body and leading off with being provocative and in many cases being ignorant, that's what sells. And so, that's why I tell folk, take a look at the young lady who did the interview, the Natalie Nunn interview with Cam Newton, and it was definitely the lowest common denominator that was being promoted, and she wasn't qualified, and she wasn't up to the task when asked serious questions about serious topics. So thank you, Ms. Jones.
Thank you, Ms.
Jones. And another thing too, you see, our health is what we taking in, and right now they talk about take away Medicaid, cut back on this, cut back on that. You have some natural ingredients.
Well, let's start living off the land again. Let's get away.
Exactly.
Look, black families cooked. We sat around the table. We picked up from the garden. Big Mama and Mama picked the best foods. We wasn't fast fooding every day. Wasn't preservatives.
Yeah.
And as for building, I'm gonna go back on that. A place to have a roof over your head. People got together and built. They started off, and with whoever did the technical part of constructing the building. But people got together and helped each other to put a building up.
After Hurricane Betsy, they had 19 of us in my auntie's house.
And here in the 7th Ward, where you had with bricklayers, which they're prominently known, this is what they did. This is what they did. Everything has been really stolen out or just given away.
Look, Ali says, Happy New Year, Miss Jones.
Thank
we
you
love
so
you.
much. Appreciate it, Miss Jones. All right, we got Kemba on the line this morning.
End of year and Happy New Year.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, y'all. How y'all doing?
Wonderful.
Doing good.
So, of course, Habar Ghani.
Habar Ghani.
All right, and today is Mia, and I hear the conversation about trying to find purpose. Well, for starters, we have to stop weaponizing womanhood against women. And with regard to that, I mean, you want us to be soft and you want us to be gentle, but at the same time, you tell us that we're not good enough. You tell us that we have to do more to be with a collective of men who don't want to believe black women. So if you're going to hold us responsible but also not give us a partnership, it can't all be our fault. Conversations around separation, weaponizing colorism, sexism, generational wealth around certain families, particularly in this city, not having an address about that, and then you wonder why people get irate and air quote ignorant, all of those things. Well, if you don't listen to us when we talk to you directly, at some point we're going to get frustrated and start yelling, and don't tone police us because we're telling you you're not listening to us. So we don't start having conversations about how we weaponize class, age, and also education and information. We're going to keep fighting each other. But we first got to figure out where our line of unity is so that we can figure out a purpose. Nobody wants to be just regular black. They got to be some sort of black with a sprinkle of jazz hands on the side. Well, if we can't come to the common denominator of being black, we're going to constantly have this conversation. But more importantly, weaponizing womanhood against women is always going to be a problem. The reason why the children are not doing good, that's a problem.
Yeah, let me lead off with this, and I can take a lie detector test and pass it. The stereotype that we're really trying to talk about, and in the talk show, you have these conversations because it's worth talking about. Neely Fuller Jr. and Amos Wilson, some of the great social scientists of our time, would not have started the effort to have this discussion if they didn't think it would lead to what we're seeing today. And as someone who sat down with a very prominent African-American female, Eddie, who told me to my face that the black elite have a problem with you and your type. Well, first of all, my question was, what type am I, right? And who is the black elite? I was told that by one of the most prominent black females in this community. So the separation just doesn't come from certain places. In many cases, it comes from powerful places that are also female. And until we admit that, we cannot have these prominent discussions about solutions until we know that everybody's culpable. And in many cases, everybody has placed these stereotypes on certain parts of our community. Period.
Let's be transparent.
I come from a matriarchal society where we've always honored black women. I've never grew up in an environment where black women weren't in charge.
That's specific to you, but I'm telling you, as a culture and as a community, especially with the callers on this radio station who tend to lean very male-centered, if you don't take the idea or the connective tissue that makes men in the general, men can produce from one particular act, but if you don't have the women to carry through the final carry across the goal line, you don't get no children. So if y'all don't stop fighting women, not you in particular, but men in general, and I'm saying that because the listening audience often leaves very male-centered, and until you start adding women to the center, you're going to keep having a problem. You're going to keep having a problem. It's always men versus women, but it's not just that. It is the
Well, let me say this, and I would love to hear. I would love to hear your take on this, especially about the facts. The CNBC report. The CNBC report said that black men and boys in 2024 are missing from the nation's economy. The Brookings Institute report on black men and boys that Kamala Harris and Marco Rubio and the president of the commission was part of said black men and boys are facing obstacles in 2022 to now pass, are facing obstacles
and what's the reason?
in every
and what is the
in
reason?
every social.
Because it can't be the women. It can't be the moms.
I'm not saying it's anybody's fault. But what I'm saying is that why are we the only community they want us to be whole with half?
Because we keep telling them we can do it. We keep telling them we can do it. We keep showing them that we can do more with less, and we keep doing it for them. That's why they keep doing it. And until we tell them we're not doing it for them, because we do it for them to make money. We don't do it for us to make us happy. So until we start addressing that, that's going to be a problem as well.
I'm going to read off a list of the stereotypical. So when we started talking about stereotypes and how do we break the stereotype and how do we have a new code of conduct, this goes to pre-emancipation, post-emancipation population. Minstrel shows, Sambo, Mammy, Aunt Jemima, the Brute, the Black Savage Buck, the Jezebel, the Pickaninny, the Black Criminal. These are the modern marketing strategies. Intellectual inferiority, the welfare queen, the angry black woman, the hyper-athletic musicality, masculine male, the magical Negro, the criminal.
And I understand all of those archetypes, and I definitely know we have people who sign up to being those. The question is, how do we get around them having the need to? It's all driven around money. People will shuck, jive, tap, dance, cartwheel in order to make sure that they have some food in their belly. But why do we keep pushing them to those things, to those devices for them to do that? We don't have the conversation.
In 2011, I wrote
that.
a piece called The Truce. When I came home from prison, I saw a heightened effort of the divisions and the lack of meaningful relations, especially given the data. I deal with the data. In 1968, 70% of our children grew up in a household where they could identify a strong male and female presence. Today, it's only 30 or 32%. So I wrote a piece called The Truce. So I get the question is, and the question we said, how do we get rid of the stereotypes? How do we come to some truce within our own community? Whether that's male, female, or whether that's dealing with marketing, advertising, and how we're portrayed. Let's work it out. We need to fix it.
All right, Kimber, you know we got to take this break. So
yes, go for it. I'll see you in a little bit.
All right,
thank you. Appreciate you, as always. So that is a good prompt for the front porch, which I know that this commentary is going to continue. I listen to
the front porch all the time. I even call in sometimes. Thank you for calling in, Kimber.
Hey, thank you, sis. Appreciate you, as always. All right, let's take this break on the Good Morning Show on WBOK. What New Orleans is talking about all day long.
Hey everybody, it's Graylin Bryant Banks
and Kimber White Dupree
from the front porch.
Some combos are too good to miss. Now you can pull up a chair to the front porch anytime.
Just search WBOK Media and subscribe to the Front Porch Podcast.
Download, share, and hit us with a 5-star rating because New Orleans culture deserves to be heard loud and clear.
Did you hear the news? Dr. Clark's 101 The Living Classroom has a new time. Catch us now every Wednesday at noon. Same program, same great conversations. Just a new time. So catch Dr. Clark's 101 The Living Classroom this Wednesday and every Wednesday only on WBOK. What New Orleans is talking about.
There's a Jewish saying that if you save one life, you save the world. And in the New Testament, Jesus said, whatever you do for the least of these, my brethren, you do for me. Whatever your religious or ethical beliefs, let's all come together to help house the homeless this winter. High rents and federal budget cuts are causing more of our neighbors to fall into homelessness. Your donation for rent assistance and the basics to furnish apartments makes a big difference. Please help the most vulnerable by giving to the nonprofit Unity of Greater New Orleans at unitygno.org. That's unitygno.org.
You've got responsibilities, but that doesn't mean your dreams are on hold. At Southern University at New Orleans, our evening and weekend college is designed with your life in mind. Finish your degree. Start a new one. On your time, your degree, your schedule, no excuses, just opportunity. Visit suno.edu and make your next move today.
Meet Leanna, a part-time chef and full-time mom. In the past, Leanna didn't have health insurance because she didn't think she could afford it. What she didn't realize is she qualified for Medicaid. She loves the coverage and peace of mind that comes with high-quality care. The kind of care you get with Healthy Blue. This is Medicaid, and it's for more people than you think. Maybe even you. To see if you qualify, go to myhealthybluela.com.
This is Oliver O.T. Thomas. Happy holidays to you and your entire family. Blessings this holiday season.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
The Good Morning Show. Eddie Francis in for Will Sutton. OT, Oliver Thomas hanging out with us. Good morning to the folks hanging out with us on Facebook and YouTube. We have on YouTube, we have Orangey96 is the screen name. And she wrote, the caller's correct. She makes a great point.
Yes.
Look at Troy and Cedric. They sold their soul to be Helen Moreno's pets. Oh, goodness. All right. There we go. That's a comment.
Kimba's one of the most powerful voices in this community now. She's the young woman. When she says something, people listen. I know I listen. But so it's always good, man, when you have prominent men and prominent women, especially young men and women, who are willing to talk about the issues that are affecting our community. And that's what we're doing.
Yeah. And one of our Facebook community did ask about the interview that Oliver's been referencing. This is the interview, Cam Newton with Natalie Nunn. This was actually posted 3 days ago on YouTube. And so the title of the interview is Calling All Baddies, reality TV legend Natalie Nunn on Fighting Business and Family. I actually posted the link to the interview on Facebook in case you want to check it out.
Wasn't much talk about family.
Goodness gracious, man. This thing was 2.5 hours long? Oh, my goodness. That's a long time to be. Oh, goodness. All right. Anyway, so this I can't deal with 2.5 hours.
Especially not a podcast.
Oh, golly, man. I can barely take 45 minutes of myself interviewing somebody on a podcast. Let's see, and we have a lot of comments on Facebook. We really thank you so much on Facebook for hanging out with Pat Blasio. Posted, we were taught values and morals at our family's table. We did not have to be taught that outside. We had the same values whether we were from uptown, downtown, back of town.
Then Pat.
And so go ahead. What you got?
But then, Pat, why are we not promoting the black family again?
Yeah.
Why are we promoting every alphabet but F for family? And I tell people, man, my salvation was in family, that unit. We couldn't afford a therapist, but we could talk to mama, daddy, auntie, and grandma. So why and I talked to social scientists today, we have historic HBCUs that are funded for stuff that don't deal with black families or strengthening the black family. So why isn't the black family in play?
Right. And so I will say this though. Pat, I will take another view on what you posted when you said that we were taught morals and values at our table. We did not have to be taught that outside. Yes, we were taught that at home, but this is a both and conversation where we were both taught it at home and we had a community to reinforce what our families taught us, because I vividly remember that I had my family at home, but I also had other parents, my friends' parents, who would say, you know your parents taught you better than that.
So you could be without a particular parent and still have parenting.
Yes, and listen, one of the things that someone told me that keeps me going, is there was a guy who down the street from our house had a fruit stand, and my parents would send me down the street to go buy some fruit all the time. And this man called me professor because I used to come down the street with my little glasses on, my little glasses on. And little did I realize I would be teaching college courses. But he would always call me Prof. Prof, how you doing this morning?
Right.
I'm 9 years
you
old.
You look like
10
a prof.
Years
he prophesied.
And he's a professor, how you doing this morning? And the one thing that he told me outside of my household that it reinforced my household was, Professor, let me tell you something. Nothing good ever comes easy. That one simple statement has kept me going for years. Right. So I would say, Pat, yes, we had what we were taught at the table, but we also did have, I think, in solid communities where everybody was on the same page about what they wanted for the future, what they wanted for their children. We also had those folks who cared enough to drop those pearls of wisdom on us.
But we didn't see the promotion of a Natalie Nunn, the promotion of stiletto fighting black doctors, right, on national television. It was promoted to do something better than your circumstances. Coming up in our community, that gentleman saw the best in you.
He did.
And he prophesied the best in you.
He did.
Today, that's not what today they'll look for the lowest common denominator and say, we're going to put her on TV. We're going to put him on TV. We're going to highlight this kid. Or we're going to market certain kinds of images. When Aaron talked about the destruction of black masculinity, that doesn't have anything to do with what you identify with. That is what Hollywood executives and advertising executives say. We know that the best way to kill a community, right, is to make sure we kill the image of the male.
Yeah. Karen Marks posted on Facebook, she decided to give a head nod to Don. She said, yes, Don, there must be a standard of conduct that begins in our homes and was taught, emphasized in our churches, and adhered to in our communities. Sadly, some of us have lost our moral compass. Cliff Dugard says, clearly, everyone doesn't have that level of consciousness in talking about some of our earlier conversations. Michael Paulette, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Absolutely.
And also Melanie Renee, who was very heavy into the conversation on
Facebook.
Melanie. Thank you so much. Shannon Swift, thank you for hanging out with us this morning. So she says it's messed up on both sides. You have women emasculating the men. You have men minimizing the women. Women and men weaponizing the children against each other. And all the while, we know that family is the cornerstone of any civilization, and that is the agenda being played against us. I think one of the things that I think has really, there are two things. One is that we took a look at other communities, and at one point we made the mistake of thinking that what other communities were doing was the right way to do it, because we were so down on ourselves and saying, okay, we can't get anything right.
But we took their worst examples.
We took the worst
and
examples.
tried to make it our best. That's what my father's take was. My father's take was that all of the worst of what other people do is marketed to try to represent the best of what black people should do.
Yeah, and listen, we took our cues. We took the wrong
Now,
cues.
I'm not Dr. Shervington or Victor Sims or Brian Turner.
Yeah.
So that's a deeper dive for them than for me. But that was my father's take.
Yeah. I would say that what we did is we made individualism, and at some point we made individualism and capitalism our deity.
Bam.
Okay.
Bam.
And I'm not
say
going to
that again.
We made individualism and capitalism our deities. But I'm not going to say that there's something wrong with us, as in we are unintelligent or the thing is that when you have a community that's weakened, and that is what the power structure of this country has always been dedicated to making sure that the black community stays weakened. That has been the play from the very beginning.
Especially right here in New Orleans.
Especially here in New Orleans. When you keep
can have fun, but you can't have wealth. You can have culture, but you can't have cash.
Come to this parade and stand on the side. I mean, I know we love Mardi Gras, but come to this parade and stand on the side.
You can travel in Rome, but you can't have a home.
And we're gonna throw trinkets at you. And your job is to hold your hands up and to wave for the trinkets. That is your lot in life.
Right.
To wave for trinkets.
And be happy about it.
And to fight each other over trinkets.
Correct.
That's what your lot in life is. When we have that kind of structure, then people are going to take advantage every single time because the playbook is already written. And so from one generation to the next.
But that's what the Willie Lynch principles was about. And I've had some people tell me, hey, man, stop blaming Willie Lynch. But no, look, at some point there has to be a personal responsibility and cultural responsibility. But there's a playbook.
Yeah. And the thing is that when we have people who push back against it, we have to figure out how to support them.
Right.
That's the thing. It's okay to be afraid when somebody pushes back and you're saying, wait a minute, this pushing back is really making our situation
But Byron
worse.
Allen, and we both talked about him earlier, he said when you push back or when you try to accomplish something, he created this thing, the 4 Ds. You dismiss him. Eddie can't do it.
Yep.
No, once Eddie starts to do it, you discredit him. Do you see how he's doing it? And once you see that he can do it and how he's doing it, then you demonize him. Y'all know Eddie did something wrong, right?
Yeah.
Eddie did, right? And then once the demonization don't work, you use your marketing, you use your advertisers, you use your television, you use your own people to destroy them.
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
4 Ds.
Absolutely. And think of it, think of it in terms of sports. Think of it in terms of when you have one team. Take any sport you want to take. You have one team that has dominated another team for years. The team that's doing the dominating, every field is their home field, right? They get all the talent. They get all the everything.
The Patriots.
Whoever it is, every field becomes their home field. But they are also desperate to make sure that every field is their home field. So what they're going to do is they're going to lie, steal, and cheat at some point.
Inflated balls.
Yes, they're going to do it.
The Patriots.
Because they are not going to lose that power.
That deep.
They're not going to lose it.
Eddie.
They don't want to lose anymore.
Eddie, that deep.
They love winning. Winning feels good.
The New England Patriots.
But the other team that has been losing for years is forced to be resourceful. They are forced to play by the rules because they play by this other team's rules because this team wins so much. But then
if they violate the rules,
if they violate
you go
the
to
rules,
jail.
If they violate the rules, they get punished.
You get suspended.
Because the other team that keeps winning, who is the league in love with? The league is in love with that team. Oh, they make us so much money. They get us so many viewers. Every time we put this team on in prime time, our ratings go up, which means our advertising dollars go up. This loser team that keeps losing to the winning team, we can't put them on TV. We can't put them on national TV because they lose too much, right? But one day, this losing team figures out the formula. They figure it out, and they're going to always figure it out. That's when the lying, stealing, and cheating starts. Because the winning team, when they see the losing team starting to get ground, they're going, oh, no, we can't lose this power. We can't lose this influence.
Wow.
We can't lose this league that we got in our back pocket. We can't lose that. So
great point.
The thing is that, what happens with us? And one of our viewers actually just wrote this on Facebook.
Okay.
It is the design, and you alluded to this earlier. Trying to, how did you put it? Trying to have a full family, then doing half a family job or something.
Our community cannot be whole with half.
So we're trying to be whole with half all the time.
So as Kimball would say, we need both of us, right? We need male and female. We need responsibility. Right. We need both of us to be responsible. Right. We cannot blame each other. But in our community, we're constantly marketing just half. So how can we be whole with half?
Right.
You can't.
And the other thing is that in our community, we have got to adopt some emotional intelligence. This is, and I'm going to say, I've been having conversations with my therapist ad nauseum about emotions.
Right.
And recognizing and validating emotions. And one of the examples that she brought up to me was when somebody tells you, Eddie, I'm angry at you because this thing happened. The worst thing you could say is, don't be angry.
Mm-hmm.
The best thing you can do is ask, well, why are you angry? And to ask and to find out what happens in our community a lot of times.
That would mean that America would care. That would mean that the people who have made it, created the formula to make you angry, as Kimba would say, would care.
Yeah. And what happens in our community is that we adopt a zero-sum approach.
Right.
We say, oh, no, I'm the one who's right. But the reason we say I'm the one who's right is because the one who says I'm right is the one who says it is hurting.
Right.
The one who says it is, I need some answers right now. I don't understand why you don't get my point of view.
Right.
And the worst thing we can do to each other is say, oh, stop that.
Right.
Stop all that complaining.
And dismiss it.
Yeah, the worst thing we can do is dismiss it. What we have to do is
But that's why we're having this conversation because, and first of all, I say God doesn't make any mistakes, right? I've been in these conversations, man, for a while now, looking at our place. I wrote a piece called The Truce in 2011 when I came home from prison, and I saw a kind of relationships, or lack thereof, between black men and women, and I saw how it was playing out. And it wasn't something that I was used to or grew up in, right? Even though it was never perfect, there was always a sense of compromise where we supported each other. What has happened to that? And then we started this show is that how do we create a new code of conduct? Because they're promoting the lowest common denominator and these stereotypes that don't add to our emotional, intellectual, or spiritual advancement.
Yeah. And I think that I want to get back to something that I said at the end of the last hour, and that is in taking a look at a code of conduct, instead of looking at it as something that is restrictive, let's take a look at it as something that is expectation setting, that is dream building, that is holding each other accountable. Now, the best quote I have ever heard about accountability comes from this guy named Alan Stein Jr., who says, accountability is something that you do for someone. What we tend to do with accountability is we tend to weaponize accountability. So that's when it turns into, well, the reason we have this problem is because this person is just out of pocket all the time. Instead of asking, why is this person behaving the way that they're doing it?
What makes this happen?
Why is this person doing this thing? And reaching for that understanding.
Well, you're a great marketer, right? And I like to use this whenever I talk to groups, right? I'll lead off with when you talk about programming. I've done it at universities when I talk to social organizations or academic organizations. 2 off-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
Yeah.
McDonald's hadn't used that in 30 years. But I still remember. I'm programmed to remember every line and every verse. And until we realize how society has programmed us in terms of what they want us to be, how we fight each other, and that's why this new term that I've come up with is we cannot be whole with half. If we continue these divisions in our community, not only will our children not be whole, they will continue to be even more fractured than we are.
John, we see you on the line right now. We're going to take this break right now, come right back to wrap up this show. It is the Good Morning Show on WBOK, what New Orleans is listening to all day long.
Interest rates and inflation are out of control. Is your credit card debt also out of control? It's time to resolve your debt and take back control for a lot less than what you owe. If you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt, then you need to call us right now. Debt Fix Pros can significantly reduce the amount you owe, and you could be debt-free faster than you think.
I knew we had to do something. Our debt was growing.
It was getting out of control, and we just didn't know what to do.
We saw an ad for Debt Fix Pros. We called, and they showed us how fast they could get us out of debt.
It really was amazing, and now we're back in control.
Call now, and we'll show you how easy it is to fix your debt. The call and consultation are free. Call Debt Fix Pros right now at 800-311-5977. That's 800-311-5977. 800-311-5977.
Every year, the lights return to City Park, and as if by magic, so do we. Families reunited, kids wide-eyed, old memories meeting new ones. Celebration in the Oaks is more than a holiday tradition. It is where New Orleans comes together to shine. Don't miss the magic. Make Celebration in the Oaks your holiday tradition and help City Park shine for generations to come. Go to celebrationintheoaks.com and grab your tickets before they're gone.
This is Eddie Francis. Happy holidays to you and yours. Don't eat too much, just enough.
Good morning. Wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
And welcome back to the Good Morning Show. Last couple of minutes, Eddie Francis in for Will Sutton. OT had to bounce, so we're going to go ahead and close this thing out. Really quickly, Shannon Swift on Facebook. In truth, this is game theory that Shannon wrote. In truth, the game the elites have been playing has always been more like chess. The goal is not to score points, but to distract attention as they move closer to checkmate. I would agree with that. And I want to go back to a point I made yesterday. I mentioned James Tallarico in Texas, who is running for U.S. Senate. And I fully agree with something that he says, is that today what we're dealing with is a case of the top versus the bottom. I think, though, for the black community, though, there is a layer of race that is in there and that aggravates that top versus bottom thing. And so let's go to the phone lines right now. We got John on the line this morning. Good morning, John.
Hey, happy Kwanzaa, everybody.
Happy Kwanzaa to you.
Me and Big O had spoken about this several times, that the society can never move, black community can never move forward until we put emphasis on creating viable men. I mean, I have to tell the ugly truth. All of the resources have been focused on women and girls, and that's good. But at the expense of males. See, why the white woman follows her man so blindly sometimes, even though she knows he's wrong, and other races of women, because they understand who are they going to fall back on when things fall apart?
So wait, John. So you say, so John, are you sure?
I'm not justifying this.
Hold on, John. So you want to say that all the resources are focused? I don't know if it's the resources.
Pretty much, sir. Pretty much. You look at Melanie Boys' home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it was a boys' home, but now they servicing girls. Why can't males have anything for themselves? You know, when Barack Obama wanted to this thing for young males. Ugly as it was, women fought against it, particularly our sisters.
What are you talking about? You talking about the Brothers Keeper initiative?
Yeah. If you do
women fought against that?
Yes, they pushed against it.
I don't know about that, John.
Yeah, well, do your research.
I don't know about that,
Check
John.
your facts. You are a He-Man woman hater, and you need to get your life in order, and that's part of the reason why you're still single. You have to look at things from a different lens, John.
Okay, hold on,
I'm not
John.
going to argue like this. I don't do that.
Yeah,
if you do
John.
not create viable men in the community, it's going to continue to be like it is. It's not being a woman hater, but you have to create viable men.
Okay, so
because
John,
when this thing is crumbling now, government jobs are going away, resources are going away. These other women got men that are in their community to fall back on. We didn't create enough viable men in our community, and women and children are going to suffer.
And that's an insult to the men that they have that are viable, and those who make the choice.
Okay, so hold on, Kimber. So John,
this is not degrading women. It's just that you got to put emphasis on developing men, or the black community is not going anywhere. It's not.
John, thanks a lot. Because we got to wrap up the show. We got to wrap up the show. John, thanks a lot. We appreciate you. Thank you for calling. All right, so John isn't going to stop. John, I appreciate you. I agree with part of what you said. And the part is that we do need stuff that focuses on men. I agree on that. I do not agree that women push back on the Brothers Keeper initiative. I don't see that at all. Because let me just say this. I was on a networking call not too long ago, and there are a lot. It was for professional speakers. There are a whole lot of virtual conferences, in-person conferences that are women empowerment conferences. There was a guy who got on and goes, "Well, where's something for the men?" And I'm sitting at the back of my mind going, "Well, let's create it.
Let's create it.
Do it."
Thank you.
And so I'm sitting there going, nothing's stopping us from doing it.
And they're happening. You just had, remember we told you about the prostate health health fair. It was not well attended by men. There were a lot of women that came, but there were men who came specifically to ask questions and to be involved, to know for themselves and take it back to the community. You can't fault that on being resourced, because all that money was spent on men. All of that money was spent on men.
And statistically, men still control a lot of resources in this society, man. We can't deny that.
And
we
as a matter of fact,
a
black
lot
women, black sisters, black cousins, black moms, all of the black women, we actually work with alongside men to get them to go to the doctor because we keep losing y'all.
Yeah.
I just came from a funeral that I told all these men, go to the doctor, go see about yourself, go make sure that you're okay because we need you and we want you here.
Yeah.
So it's not about the fact that women do not want to support. It's not about the fact that women push back. I said before on the call, you cannot keep putting this in the laps of women and expecting us to carry it. We can't be the blame and the solution at the same time. We want to work with y'all. We want to see you healthy. And for the major bulk of y'all who have heard us, thank you.
Yeah. And so with that being said, I think that's as good a segue as any into the front porch. That's coming up in a couple of minutes. Kemba's in the house. Graylin's going to be in the house. Hang out with him because Graylin and Kemba need friends. Okay, Kemba, my sister.
We need community.
It is good. It is good seeing you. I will say this. I'm saying this. I'm a black man whose black wife supports him 100%, and whose black wife doesn't make nearly the amount of money she needs to be making because I see and recognize the game. All right, so. We can always listen. This is a both and conversation.
Yes.
And that's what I want to encourage us to do as we wrap up today's show. Let's turn this into a both and conversation. This is not zero sum because zero sum gets us nowhere. It is actually the sum of zero is zero because nothing from nothing means nothing unless you punch somebody in the mouth. That was an Eddie Murphy.
I loved your show today. It was amazing. Y'all listening to the direction ahead, fortune ahead.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, the way forward.
The way forward. Listen, I blended all the names.
Why did Kemba try to rename my show?
But yes, the way forward. Make sure you're catching. And if you missed the live show, please get the replays because it's great information for our community, for everyone in our community.
Thank you so much. All right, we got to wrap this thing up so Graylin and Kemba can come in and continue whatever conversation they're going to continue. But thank you so much for hanging out with me and OT today. I'm going to be back tomorrow so that we can bring in 2026 with a bang. I'm Eddie Francis in for Will Sutton on the Good Morning Show on WBOK, what New Orleans is talking about all day long.